You know what? I didn't want to put my camera initially because I was like, everybody's wondering who is talking behind the scene. Yes, Nkonye Duru is here again. Like I said earlier on, I'm standing in for our wonderful, wonderful Wow Wednesday host, Ziggy Away. You know, Ziggy Away is airborne again. Those of you who heard of what she had just done, going all the way to the headquarters of our fabulous company that we always project through this wonderful program that teaches you about your lifestyle. She went over to her headquarters office in secret, showed everyone what this company is all about. She's back, she's on her way back to SA. And so today I'll be the host, and I hope I'll be able to fill into those very big shoes of her. You know, Ziggy is, very bubbling. So today I'm hoping I'll be as bubbling and I can get everyone to key into today. Now, everyone, like I said earlier on, Nkonye Duru is here as your host. March is actually a celebration for women. And in recent times, we've actually been hosting women. And today, we're going to host another powerful woman. The last time we hosted a doctor, a medical doctor. Today, we're going to host another doctor. But this time around, it's not a medical doctor, it's doctor for book. It's amazing how these women have transformed their lives doing something so excellent in the society, in the environment. We have a giant with us today. So I would like all of you to get your pen and paper. If you're a guest, you've never been in this company, if you're already in this company and you want to blow your opportunities, your financial opportunities, your income opportunities, get your pen and paper ready. As you see me, I am an entrepreneur to the core. I've been an entrepreneur for over 20 years. I've actually had an opportunity to work and start up different businesses. And today, you have a giant in the entrepreneurial world. So before I start, I want you all to start giving a shout out on this chat group and start welcoming the person that you don't even know you're gonna see, because she is a giant in the entrepreneurial world. When I start reading out her profile, you will completely bow. I'm telling you, this person has a PhD, like I said, doctor for book, MBA, BSc in honors degree, and has 28 years of banking. Wow. Microfinance, entrepreneurship, value chains, and program management experience with strategic institutional stakeholding levels throughout sub-Saharan Africa. And an exposure in Asia, Latin American, European countries. So she cuts across the whole world with her knowledge. I'm not finished though, but I want you to just start giving fire on the group chat. Start clapping, because this is just the tip of the iceberg of who she is. Then I go over to say, her experience in banking spans across microfinance, SME, development, entrepreneurship, agriculture, youth and gender related work in the public, private and private sector, even UN agencies. So this lady is powerful. She's going across private, public sectors, UN agencies, NGOs. Wow, we have an amazing lady. She has served as a task force member for microfinance SME policies for the government. Can you imagine that? So in terms of actually having what it takes in legally approved by the government to be able to be a successful entrepreneur, she has it. So give a shout out, give a shout out, give a shout. I'm not done introducing her, you know. I am not done. She is a total package, because she's not just gone through all this, she's also an author of so many business related books. Your business generates your business. In fact, what she has done has been so amazing that she has written so many business related books that are for Southern and Eastern Africa region. She has worked for Dutch funding agencies. Now she's leaving Africa. She's gone to Europe. She's gone to Asia. She's cut across the world. She's also done donor funds, namely DFIPID, SIDA, USAID, DANID, oh my goodness, Ford Foundation, GIZ, EU. Wow! As a country director for International Youth Foundation in Zimbabwe, she designed and implemented and integrated entrepreneurship. And that is what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about entrepreneurship and the success factors that make you to excel. Guys, give a standing ovation for a wonderful mother of two. She's done all this being a mother, a wonderful mother of two in the university, Dr. Lucia Mandengenda. Welcome, Doctor. This is amazing. So nice to have you on the call. This is really amazing. As you can see, I'm also dopping my cap for you. This is wonderful. Welcome, Doctor. I'm so blown away with your profile to know how much you have done being a female person and able to achieve that also being a mother. This is wonderful. I mean, she's cut across the whole world, Asia, Europe, Africa, name it. Private, public, government, just name it. So today, guys, give a shout out for Dr. Lucia. Get your paper and pen because your life is going to be blown away. Your life is...
Thank you so much, Nkonye Duru. I trust everybody, you can see me, you can hear me. If someone can confirm in the chat, or Henry, let me know if you can see me, you can hear me. Otherwise, I feel the energy, Nkonye, wow. And when I was listening to you, I was wondering, is that the younger me or the old me? Either way, thank you so much for having me on this platform, our Wednesday Wow. And it's always a pleasure to serve the community. And, you know, I'm so humbled in as much as Nkonye has outlined my profile, but I always, you know, besides what I do in my professional life, what we do in our secret community is something that I do part-time, but I enjoy. I'm a fun-loving person. And you see why, because what I do is too serious to be fun. That's why I love our community. So my name is Dr. Lucia Mandengenda, and as Nkonye said, a mother of two beautiful daughters. And I always say with a caveat, they are black belts, karate black belts. So, you know, these are ladies that can stand for themselves. That's not to say, you know, the bachelors out there, watch out. So, Lucia Mandengenda is my name, hold a PhD, and mostly in terms of my work experience, as has already been shared with you, is in the financial sector, entrepreneurship, and program management. And this has been across both the banking sector, the donor community, UN agencies, as well as multilaterals. And my experience is in sub-Saharan Africa. So just seeing, you know, all of you, our Africa community, I'm mostly been in your country and mostly trained your brother and mostly trained institutions and funded institutions in your own home country in terms of sub-Saharan Africa, East, West, and Southern Africa. And both English speaking and Portuguese, would you say, eu falo português. So in terms of my global experience, I have funded organizations and built capacity of organizations in Asia, Far East Asia, India, as far as Indonesia, as well as Latin America, Central and South America. And then in terms of European countries, where in terms of the global program management. And then more coming closely to the entrepreneurship sphere, besides the financial sphere. I'm a certified trainer and have written materials for the International Labour Organization for this continent and for all other continents. And, you know, just let me know as we move along when we touch on some of these things. If you've seen purple cover books green cover books, blue cover books, gold cover books. Those are the start your business, generate your business, expand your business. And so if you're in Ghana, if you're in Nigeria, you'd have come across this. If you're in Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, you'd have come across this. If you're in South Africa, Botswana, Tanzania, Namibia, Zimbabwe, Malawi, Mozambique, and Angola, you'd have come across these materials. And I also facilitate business games, simulating of an experience of how to actually run a business. And so, that's not stuff just for MBA business school, but in terms of ordinary entrepreneurs understanding how business functions. And then in terms of my international advisory work, I do work for a multilateral that funds governments on this continent, as well as work for development partners, UN agencies, finance institutions. So in my humble kind of way, I'm also making decisions in terms of what affects your life in your economy. And then in terms of financial inclusion, having been a banker, a donor, I facilitate with central banks in terms of national financial inclusion, primarily also championing the cause of women's access to finance, and then sitting on various boards, including finance institutions. I'm an entrepreneur in my own right, alongside my work career. When we were writing the materials for starting businesses, etc., we said we cannot be training entrepreneurs when we are not running businesses ourselves. So that was like in the late 90s, early 2000s. Yes, this is real gray hair. It's not tints in my hair. And so, I run a consultancy in terms of research and training, besides the advisory work. And I've also run, retail clothing business, manufacturing, services, equipment hire, retail and farming. And, as I settle into the honeymoon of my years, I'm actually enjoying the farming and in a more laid back way. So enough of me, too serious. So that's why I love the fun side of what we do in terms of our community. I love traveling. With all the work that I've done, you dash across different countries, continents, and you're traveling on your own and seeing beautiful sights. And so when I joined the travel company and now Club Secret, it was all really to travel with my family and see the different corners of the world. And my favorite travel partner is my husband. And we leave the kids to look after the house. That's what we do. And we dash out and have fun in different parts of the world. So I love the water. I love the outdoors. I'm a very sort of, extrovert, outgoing kind of person, would you believe? So enough about me. Then let's delve into the topic and subject of the day. So this is something that I do in terms of just offering an introductory overview of what entrepreneurship is. And you'll also appreciate the distinction between entrepreneurship and business management. Many a times people talk of these terms in a very sort of interchangeable way, but they don't mean the same, they mean different things. So let's just hone in our skills on something new. We're into network marketing, we're distributors, we are agents, but we also have to recognize ourselves as entrepreneurs. And it's actually being entrepreneurial, being able to seize opportunities, whether through MLM or through conventional businesses. Either way, let's learn a little something. Let me share something with yourselves in terms of entrepreneurship. You may know this, you may practice this. So, for the benefit of those that, want to hear a few more things, let me share with yourself. So just touching, never go to Google. In my educational experience, never go to Google to learn, because then you're just picking up on different people's opinions. And as Nkonye said, my background is more on the academic side. And so really we tap on research, and I've done similar research and evidence that really tells us truly what entrepreneurship is. And just sharing two definitions, the various definitions out there, but these I would say capture the essence of what entrepreneurship is. And starting with the first phrase, entrepreneurship is the willingness and ability of an individual to seek out investment opportunities, see them, identify them, and be able to establish and run an enterprise. So this is about seizing the opportunity and acting on it to be successful based on what you've identified as a business opportunity. Now, also remember, we're in the same environment. Some people see opportunities, some people don't. Some people connect the dots, some don't. That's just the way the world is. And then another definition that captures the essence of entrepreneurship is that it's a process. It's a process of seeing, which is identifying, and evaluating a business opportunity. So you have to see it first. We might all be in the same space, same room. Somebody sees the opportunity, but the next person might not. And evaluate that business opportunity in terms of assessing the risks, assessing the potential in terms of economic potential, and then gathering the necessary resources, be it the funding, be it the people, to really capitalize on it and take advantage in terms of taking the actions to ensure that it's successful. So you see there's certain aspects in terms of what entrepreneurship is. And you note that it's more towards the person, and then we'll talk about aspects in terms of business management that are more in relation to the enterprise. So just to give you some tips there so that we can really understand what entrepreneurship is as distinctive from business management. So I don't want to make this too academic. I also want to make it relatable. So as you look at these definitions that I've shared with you, you'll appreciate that in terms of what we're going to touch on, we'll break it down in terms of then from entrepreneurship, we'll look at an entrepreneur, you, the person. And so what is an entrepreneur? And I want you to think about this as we talk about, these broad definitions that many a Frenchman, many a German man, and many an African man then came, resolved and looked at saying, ultimately what an entrepreneur is. You may have heard of the Schumpeter's, the McLarens, etc. These are all thought leaders in this field. And so bringing it down to, what makes sense and is more relatable to all of us. If we look at the business opportunity that we explore in secret alongside any other businesses that you're into. An entrepreneur is one that creates a new business in the face of risk and uncertainty. So not everything is certain in life. And you still be able to achieve profit and growth as you identify the opportunities, assemble the resources to capitalize on the opportunities. And so as entrepreneurs, you face financial risks, career risks, family and social risks, as well as psychological risks that go with undertaking an enterprise or running a business. So whether it is the secret business or any other that you're involved in, rest assured, if you want to make money out there and the opportunities are there for the grabbing, it also comes with managing the risks that go with it and still be able to have a bottom line and make profit. And also an entrepreneur is an innovator, someone who implements change within markets and through carrying out various combinations, introduces new techniques of production and reorganizes industry and innovation. So an entrepreneur is an innovator. So, these are not the copycats, small little businesses. That's a lesson for another day. There is a difference between a small business owner and an entrepreneur, but that's a lesson for another day. But just note that entrepreneurs are creative, they're innovative, and they assess opportunities, act on them, to then derive profit. So I just want you to reflect in terms of who is entrepreneur? Are you entrepreneur? And that's not a trick question. So as you just reflect on this sort of collage that I've created in terms of identifiable businesses in our African context, I just want you to reflect in your specific country, and that's the beauty about our secret community on the African continent. I want each and every one of you to be able to say, what is the type of business and what do you admire about a successful entrepreneur in your country? I'm happy to say I've been able to come to different countries, train different entrepreneurs. I know the borders in Uganda. I've been down Luumu Street, and I've been to other corners in other countries. So I want you to reflect in terms of what type of business and what do you admire about a successful entrepreneur in your country. So I want you to jot that down and reflect on that. And then we'll come back. So just take a minute, right? What type of business and what do you admire about a successful entrepreneur in your country? So we're not talking about Richard Branson. We're not talking about Elon Musk. There are successful entrepreneurs in our own countries on this African continent that I want you to reflect on and write down. What is the type of business they're into for the entrepreneur you admire? And what is it that you actually admire about that successful entrepreneur in your country? So we'll just give it 30 more seconds as we reflect and appreciate the various opportunities that this continent has provided for different of us, as well as many other countrymen in our various countries. All right, so I'd like to appreciate that you've been able to jot that down and be able to truthfully say to yourself, this is what I admire about that entrepreneur, and they're into this particular type of business. And so there's a reason why I want you to start reflecting in this way. And so just to summarize what we've touched on, and for you to pick on some of the key elements of entrepreneurship, you find that it emphasizes the following activities. It emphasizes self-employment of some sort, the creation of an enterprise or organization, innovation, and combination of resources. And then further, in terms of defining entrepreneurship, these are key elements in terms of identification, exploitation of opportunities within the economic system or market, as well as all the processes and activities that you're involved in nurturing and sustaining a business enterprise. So that pretty much sums up in terms of if we're talking about entrepreneurship. And so at this point, I know in terms of our secret community, we talk about leadership, personal development, we talk about back office systems and so on. We talk about MLM, the marketing side of things. But this is more about you, the person who's driving that business opportunity, irrespective of the business model, for you to understand the realm and the space that you're in, irrespective of the type of business that you're running, and in this case, the secret business. So now I want to come to, what are the success factors for entrepreneurs? What are the key entrepreneurial characteristics of entrepreneurs? And, this is not Google. This is evidence, research-based, and pretty much, globally known type characteristics, proven. And some of the key elements that I highlight here, as I touch on them, I want you to be able to reflect to say, which of these attributes, which of these factors, which of these characteristics do I possess or do I exhibit? So the need for achievement and internal locus of control. Now, people with a need for achievement are people who want to achieve a high standard of skill, high achievement versus failure. And many a times in our language, we talk about, I love the work ethic, they're driven, they're focused. And so and in this field of entrepreneurship, we call it need for achievement in a positive kind of way. Then internal locus of control is somebody who takes ownership of whatever happens to them is the result of their effort and hard work. So that's an entrepreneurial person. Somebody who has an external locus of control is someone who blames the outside world, and whatever calamities or whatever befalls them is always the fault of everybody else except themselves. But entrepreneurial people have internal locus of control and own the results out of the actions and effort that they put in. Entrepreneurs have initiative, they're self-confident and have self-esteem, no self-doubt. They have the ability to put resources together, whatever it takes. As they say, you know, they'll make a plan. If they want to execute, they find a way. And they have a tolerance of ambiguity. So even when things are uncertain, and even things are not crystal clear, but in the level of ambiguity, they can still be able to execute and they adapt to change. And I just want to pause at this moment to say, you know, don't look at what's happening around you in any season. You have to be the trunk that, you know, stands firm whenever the winds are blowing. You are the one who needs to adapt to change if you're a true entrepreneur. And it's not the company, it's not the team that's going to help you here. It's you in terms of how you adapt to change and your tolerance of ambiguity. And then, of course, collectively within any team, particularly in the network marketing business, the collective with positive mindset and adaptation for change would definitely be able to withstand the test of time. Then entrepreneurs, you know, key factors for success, they take risks, but this is not gambling risk. This is what we call moderate and calculated risk. Enough risk to be able to exploit the opportunity and be able to make profits and grow. And entrepreneurs are alert to opportunities. Remember, as I said at the beginning, we may all be in the same environment and maybe still looking at the same blue sky and the same horizon, but maybe one or two will see the opportunity and the rest may not. Some are able to connect the dots and others are not. And so creativity and innovation is key. And then other key entrepreneurial characteristics, success factors: optimism, positive thinking, great energy, problem solvers and decision makers, and leadership. Those are just without fail, whatever the circumstance is, whatever the environment for business during the ups and the downs in terms of solving the problems, making decisions, and showing and exhibiting leadership in your enterprise. Then the ability to learn, the right drive and energy, integrity, no doubt, and the capacity for hard work and just being frugal and not being spending in a wanton abundance, so to speak. Accountability, independence, perseverance, you know, sticking it out, sticking it right through, and being determined. So as I touch on these entrepreneurial characteristics, just reflect, you know, what are the characteristics that you're strong at? What are the ones that you exhibit? You might exhibit all, you might exhibit some, that's fine. We all have our strengths and weaknesses. Just be assured that either way, any of those aspects that we lack, they can be worked on. And no doubt, negotiating skills and time management skills. So what I've shared with you are the key highlights in terms of you look up any journal, you look up any academic work, you look at the reality of entrepreneurs out there who've been successful over millennia. These are the proven key entrepreneurial characteristics that they exhibit in terms of the factors for success as an entrepreneur. And so once, since we've touched on that, I'd like us to do an exercise, a self-assessment. You're the assessor, you're the judge, and you either give yourself a gold star or a blue star as it so fits. So I want you to take the next 2 to 3 minutes, just assess yourself as an entrepreneur based on the entrepreneurial characteristics that I've just outlined, and also the definition of an entrepreneur, what an entrepreneur is. So just assess yourself on the entrepreneurial characteristics. List down those that you feel you possess. I'd like you to list down the ones that you feel you possess. not just for the beauty of them, but those that you truly say, these are exhibit, these are me. List those characteristics that you feel you possess. So let's just take the next 2 to 3 minutes. And if you want to reflect on what those characteristics are, I'll just revert back and show on the screen. So let's just take 2 to 3 minutes, list the characteristics that you possess, assess yourself in terms of the entrepreneurial characteristics that have been proven over time to withstand the test of time. They just show for themselves in terms of true entrepreneurs. So just give it 2 more minutes then. Just list the characteristics that you exhibit for yourself. So just show me in the chat room if you've been able to do this so that we can move on to the next part of what we're sharing. Just let me know in the chat room if you're done. Just chat and put 222 so that I know you're done with your self-assessment. Just chat in the chat room with the 222 so that I know you've been able to take the time for yourself and assess your own entrepreneurial characteristics, your own success factors, what you exhibit as an individual. Just let me know in the chat room. Yes, I can see 333, or 2222. So 1 more minute if you're still assessing yourself, and then we'll be able to move on in terms of assessing and listing for yourself key entrepreneurial characteristics that you exhibit, that you yourself identify you possess. All right, I have some that are engaging. So at this juncture, yes, I've asked for, place 222. Let's move on to the next aspect. So, really the question is, are you an entrepreneur? You don't have to answer me now, but it's an answer you need to give yourself, appreciating characteristics that you possess, characteristics that entrepreneurs possess, entrepreneurial characteristics for success in terms of that self-assessment. So at this point, I would like us to engage in the chat room. I just want, for yourselves to just freely, each person just freely, which 2 characteristics do you exhibit? So just type 2 characteristics that you exhibit, entrepreneurial characteristics, and then just add along that which additional one you want to work on. So which 2 characteristics do you exhibit that you know you're strong at? Just chat into, and then put an additional one that you want to work on, appreciating what are the success factors for entrepreneurs. Feel free to use the chat room. Just feel free to chat in terms of what are the characteristics that you, for yourself, you exhibit, and then which is the one additional one that you want to work on. So we see risk taker, creativity, self-driven, ownership. Give us two that you yourself exhibit, and then share with us which one you want to work on. Yes, perseverance, sticking it through, risk taker, consistency, ability to put resources together in time management. We have risk takers, calculated, moderate risk. We take it, not all out gambling, ability to learn and determination, self-confidence, ability to learn and creativeness. All right, share with us in terms of the one area that you might want to work on. You may have identified there are various, but just share with us, the one area that you want to work on. So some would like to work on their time management of business and lifestyle, work on the risk taking, moderate calculated risk, putting resources together, adapting to change, definitely with you there. Negotiating skills, negotiating whether it's closing the sale or negotiating with friends and family or negotiating for your time. Risk-taking and commitment, right. I can see, at least in terms of what we've been sharing together, some of these entrepreneurial characteristics have meaning for you and are relatable. All right, so we'll move on then as we touch on the remaining aspects that I want to share with you, because like I said, this is more the introduction for you to be aware of what are entrepreneurial characteristics, what are success factors. So just move on. Feel free to continue sharing with us in terms of entrepreneurial characteristics that you possess and that you want to work on. And so I just want to land on business management skills. So remember, I said at the beginning, many a times people say entrepreneurship, business management as if it means the same, but it doesn't. And so entrepreneurship is more on the opportunity identification, the action, the process related to the person, the entrepreneur. Whereas business management skills is more on the business, the enterprise, the systems. I'm sure you can relate and see the difference. So key functions of business management and business skills that one needs to have. I know in our secret community, the company takes care of the back office, the systems issues, but there are also things that you need to put in place in terms of for any enterprise. And this is what I just want to share. That is, if you're running any kind of business, having a business plan, having a clarity in terms of what this business is about and how you operate it and so on. If it's bigger companies, obviously they look at strategic plans, but in this case, let's just talk of business plans. Putting in business systems, processes, procedures, and records. In the secret community, there's a system in the back office, but if you are establishing or running a conventional enterprise, you need to put in these systems and processes for things to work. I know some of you also run your own whether product-based or service-based type businesses. And then, of course, the legal issues are important, licensing, registration. And then in terms of business management skills that are important for any entrepreneur, obviously the marketing, the promoting, customer relations, irrespective of the business one is operating, and just bringing it a little bit close to home in terms of the secret business. Client management, relationship management, how long those orders are taking and delivery. So, on the back end, it's taking some time, but on the front end, what's important is your customer relationship management. Then, of course, competitor analysis. There are many others that are in possibly similar lines of businesses. Yes, differentiated. But you need to know what is out there and what the market has in terms of options. And then no doubt communication, ICTs, and overall general management, human resources, all of this may seem like, it's quite a lot for the kind of MLM that I'm doing, but we're talking about these issues as they're applicable to that, as they're applicable to any other enterprise you're running. And also, entrepreneurship is an area that's exhibited in the body corporate, and we call that intrapreneurship. And so you can be entrepreneurial in the body corporate, and what's important is to have business management skills, even in that context, besides having these skills for your own enterprise. And then no doubt, operations, process flows, and the overall financial management. So in my younger days, we used to train people in terms of business plans, cash flow planning, balance sheets. In the banking days, I always enjoyed when an entrepreneur walked through and they had these grand ideas about the business, and then you had to go and verify what's on the ground before you risk the bank's money. But the beauty about that was, if somebody was able to sell their vision to a bank, and a bank to be able to finance and invest in them, that for me was always the rewarding part. And then looking back and seeing some of those businesses still there, years on, and some have even expanded. But I must say, yes, when those loans don't come back, you gotta call them in. I was never afraid in terms of taking you to the cleaners and putting the legal action towards, when it comes to money, you can't have too much heart. You gotta work with your head. And so, there's no, in my language, we say there's no money that's not accounted for. You always follow up to the cent. And that just comes from my training in banking. And so to end off then, in terms of what I'd prepared and what I wanted to share with yourselves, just to give you some tips in terms of entrepreneurship, what is an entrepreneur, and also business management skills, just to share with you, to say that a combination of entrepreneurial, business skills, as well as technical skills, a combination of this contributes to overall success. Why I say this, if you just have entrepreneurial skills, yes, you'll be successful, but not as successful as someone who also has business skills, but not as successful as someone who has entrepreneurial, business, and technical skills. That's just how things have been able to work. If you don't have the technical skills, you can hire people with the technical skills. But relating it to our kind of secret community business, it's really about understanding and learning how this type of business is done, of which we have plenty of training around that. But you have to work on yourself, the person, not just mindset issues, but your entrepreneurial competencies, your predisposition as an entrepreneur. And I just want to leave you with the thought and knowing that entrepreneurship can be taught. Don't let anybody tell you that entrepreneurs are born. Those are old schools of thought. The school of thought that has prevailed is that entrepreneurship can be taught. So all the skills that I've touched on earlier are skills that you can be trained, are skills that you can enhance, are skills that can be nurtured. And then also I want to leave you with a clear understanding. It's a myth. It's a myth. All the examples that are tutored out there to say the successful businessmen are the school dropouts, those that left college. Research actually tells you the successful business people are educated people. So I just thought, let me touch on that, because many a times we say, if others have been successful and they've dropped out, that should be okay. No, there's greater success. You can achieve greater success in investing in yourself. And why not start in terms of enhancing on your entrepreneurial skills? So ladies and gentlemen, let me leave you there. Otherwise, thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for your time and your attention. So over to you, Nkonye, Duru.
Wow,
That's all from me
Dr.
tonight.
Lucia. Thank you so much. This is so amazing. Everybody show some wonderful love She's actually giving us something that is really amazing today. Show some love. Thank her so much. I want you to go into the chat group and just say a big thank you to Dr. Lucia. She's giving us something so amazing that will transform our lives. She's shown us the A, B, C, D to Z of what it is to be a successful entrepreneur. Guys, show some love. I thank you so much, Dr. Lucia. You have done wonders to this topic, and I'm telling you, I'm going back home realizing where my fault is and working on it. In fact, today I watched a video of a young man who actually dived into a field he's never done before and he wasn't so good at, and I asked him, why would you do swimming when you're better in other things? And he said, how will I be able to judge myself to be successful when I have not handled not being good at something? And today you just persist everything for us, showing us what we are good at and what we're not good at and how we can get better. Thank you so much, Dr. Lucia. You've done a wonderful work. As we appreciate her, please put into the chat group questions you like to ask, things you like to know more about concerning being an entrepreneur and being a successful entrepreneur. For me, I have some questions, so I will start from my side. Now, Dr. Lucia, I would like to ask, to leap into entrepreneurship is not an easy thing. I've been an entrepreneur for years. So I would just like to know, how long does it take for you to begin to see the success of the business you have started up? I like the fact that you said, let's not look at being Richard Branson and all these top big entrepreneurs that have been there, but look at it being an entrepreneur in your own location, in your home. Now, if you want to start entrepreneurship, how long do you think that someone should actually tie up their belts, hold up themselves, and expect to see some profit afterwards? How long do you think we should hold on to?
All right, thank you for that, Nkonye. Well, as experience has shown, in the first 3 to 5 years, businesses start and businesses fail. So which means you need to be in there for the long haul, not the short haul. Quick deals are not businesses. So you need to give yourself the right time to establish your business, to be able to penetrate different markets, offer different products and services. And this is something that you nurture and grow over time. So 3 to 5 years in actual fact, the startup phase is almost 0 to 3 years. So that's the startup phase of a business. And then in terms of saying a business has survived, in your 3 to 5 years, if you go over your 5 years, your business that survives. And mind you, the size of your enterprise will also differ. So, you have to think big, but you start small. And so I would say startup phase 3 years, in terms of saying that I've established and I'm surviving as an enterprise, 5 years at a minimum.
Thank you so much. That is amazing. I actually know of someone, Jesse Macpherson, in our company that actually took 9 years to come to the peak of his career in our business, in our company. And this is so assuring coming from an expert. She had just said it. 3 years is just the startup phase. So when you want to get to the peak, when you want to get to the top, we actually need to go the long haul. Thank you. That is really amazing. The expert has spoken, so is it written. Now, the next question I would like to talk about or ask you is, how do you relate your success? How do you measure your success? What determines your success in your business?
All right. So first I'll talk about my conventional businesses, and then I'll talk about the MLM. In terms of success for me, every time we've been running businesses, some ran for 12, 14 years, some ran for 6 years, some ran for 5 years. And for us, success ultimately was about when we established a clientele base and we were getting repeat customers. And in terms of the inflows, we had gone past the break-even point, which is when your inflows cancel off your expenditures, and then you start making profits. and then just becoming a household name in terms of what it is that we are doing. So those would be elements that I would say in terms of measuring success in terms of the conventional businesses. And then when it comes to the MLM, in a similar way, in terms of the number of people that you interest, the number of people in your team, and then as things start cascading and increasing and growing, and I think not just growing in one country, but growing in different countries, being a global business.
That's interesting. You know, actually, I also wanted to ask that question about the multi-level marketing business. Multi-level marketing business is also known as an entrepreneurial business where people actually own their business. But there was something you said at the end of your lecture. You said to be a very good business person, you have to have entrepreneurial skills, business skills, and technical skills. You mentioned things about hiring a technical personnel to handle the technical skills if you cannot. Now, multi-level marketing business seems to be different. Can you explain to us how different it is? Because in that case, are you going to be hiring? You're more or less like the CEO, the secretary, the accountant. So can you tell us deeply about what multi-level marketing business entrepreneurship is, so that people understand what it takes to be a multi-level marketing business entrepreneur?
All right, thank you for that, Nkonye. So when it comes to multi-level marketing, yes, it's a distribution business. You're an agent. You're pretty much a jack of all trades in a sense. And so you're the one who's doing the marketing. You're the one who's keeping the records. Sure, the back office helps, and then you're the one who has to train others to become technically proficient in terms of how to run the business. But gradually, you'll find as you build other agents and in the team, some are strong, have other qualities that they're strong at, and it's really about working as a team and complementing each other. Just like, some may be able to be comfortable to do the presentations, and then some are very good at the closing, and so on and so forth. So you're kind of like sharing roles and leveraging on each other's expertise. So not so much as in hiring technical skills, but you are sharing the combination of your various skills as a team. But no doubt, as you start off, you are the jack of all trades, and of course the people that signed you up should also be then supporting in terms of some of these technical skills that you lack.
Wow, thank you so much. This is just amazing. So, Dr. Lucia has just done wonders for us today. She has shown us what it takes to be a successful entrepreneur in all facets of business. Whether you actually want to be an entrepreneur owning your little business in your own country, or you want to go into the multi level marketing business, like we have a wonderful, fabulous company, Secret, which has actually gone into direct agency, and she's explained to you being in secret with direct agency. It's mind blowing. Yes, you can in fact be the CEO of your company, the secretary of your company, but like you said, our back office is mind blowing, is very supportive. And if you have any other questions, please put it on the chat group. Do you have a closing remark for all of us going home today? Let me give you the table again, Dr. Lucy. Closing remark for us, so that we are armed, ready to run in our different businesses.
Yeah, what I can say is, it's like the entrepreneurial spirit. It's like a latent spirit. If in you it's resting, awaken it. If it's awoken, let it explode and enhance and strengthen the areas where you know you need to work on. Just like any strengths and weaknesses, work on the strengths and work on the weaknesses and leverage on the strengths. But there's a sleeping giant in you, and so that's why I say entrepreneurship can be taught. You're not born as entrepreneurs are not born. Each and every one of us has that latent spirit within us. So awaken it and roar for us in Africa. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lucia. Did you hear what she said? There's a sleeping giant in you. I told you today we have a giant in our midst, and she's just shown us what it takes to become a giant like her. Wake it up and become the best entrepreneur in the best company. So thank you so much, everyone. I'm coming from Secret, and see you guys next week. Have a lovely evening and the rest of the week. Okay. Thank you.